We've got to send John Hall to Congress to work with Maurice Hinchey. I'm here to support John's candidacy because I know how important it is to change who runs Congress if we expect to change what happens in our country. We cannot change the policies that many of us are despairing over unless we change the people who make those policies. And the way that Congress works, the majority party gets to set the agenda. They determine what gets voted on in the House. And Maurice can tell you they don't want debate. They don't want better ideas. They want to tell you what to do and expect everybody just to fall in line. Well, we've seen what's happened in the last 6 years, haven't we? Ever since this president and vice president came into office. If we change who's making the decisions in Washington, we can do a lot. And that's why we've got to vote for John Hall. You know, I'm excited because I've been following John's campaign. And he's been endorsed, I think, by every newspaper in the district. And they have looked carefully at his proposals. They've examined his background. You know, he's held public office, and he's done a very good job. He's been fiscally responsive, he's responsible, he's been creative, he's come up with good ideas. That's one of the reasons that he wants to go to Washington, to be able to do on the national level what he knows will work. So all these editorial endorsements, they have compared what John has done and what he stands for and what he wants to do with his opponent, and they've endorsed him. I think that's a great vote of confidence because he's presented a positive agenda for change. And do we ever need that right now in our country? He and I both want to have a new energy policy. You know, we need to move toward energy independence, and we cannot do that unless we get the vice president and the oil companies out of the way. They just want to keep subsidizing old oil, and that is not going to work for America. John and I both want to make it possible for more people to have health insurance and to make it open in Medicare for people to be able to enlist in Medicare so that they are not left out of the system. There's a lot we can do to make health care available and affordable to every American, but it won't happen if we have the Republicans calling the shots. They want to, in fact, dismantle what we already have. You look at that Medicare prescription Part D program, that is designed to bankrupt Medicare. You look at their failure to let us negotiate for lower prices with the drug companies. That is to transfer huge amounts of taxpayer dollars to the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies. You cannot make any other conclusion than that the Republicans don't really support Medicare. And they sure don't support Social Security. They're still trying to privatize it, and the president has said he's going to work to privatize Social Security until the last day he's in the Oval Office. So let's make sure we have a Democratic Congress to prevent that from happening as well. I am very excited about John's candidacy. You know, my husband was with him the other day and came home and said, boy, he's a great candidate. You know, he gives a great speech. I said, well, of course, he's still the one. What do you expect? He is the one. He's the one that's going to move us closer to a majority in Congress if all of you help. I want you to talk to everybody you know between now and Tuesday. I know some of you are making phone calls for John's campaign. Others of you are passing out literature. Don't give up on anybody. Talk to your Republican friends and neighbors. Talk to independents. We can have a new direction if we have new members of Congress of the independence and creativity that John Hall will bring to that job. I am honored to be here with him, and I am delighted to introduce the next Congressman, John Hall.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you so kindly, and thank you, Maurice, and thank all of you for coming out today. Following Senator Clinton is a new experience for me. Speaker as powerful and gifted as she, it seems like I should be going before her. It's the first time this happened since when I was playing with Taj Mahal, we had to follow the Allman Brothers. Or maybe it was when Orleans had to follow Hart in Boston at the Esplanade. I can't remember. Anyway, it's good to be here, and the topics have been mentioned. You know why we're here. We're here because we have to rescue this country from the irresponsible and reckless foreign policy that's based on a cowboy mentality of speak loudly and carry lots of sticks, and we have to rescue this country from the corporate control of Congress that's manifested itself in an energy policy, as we just heard, that is run by, of, and for the oil companies. And certainly we have to change the situation in which this most powerful nation that calls itself the only superpower on earth somehow manages to leave 40 million people without any health care. And that just can't be allowed to continue. And I promise you that that'll be right at the top of my agenda. And lastly, I just want to say that it's really critical that we restore trust and confidence in our government, that we believe once again in what our elected and appointed officials tell us. We've had enough of Clear Skies initiative that actually makes the air dirtier. We've had enough of a Healthy Forest initiative that actually lets the timber companies cut roads into virgin timber. We need to get back to telling people what things really are, away from the Orwellian doublespeak of this administration. And I remember when I was on the school board, it was actually, it was a lot of hard work. And I spent 4 years there, 2 years as president of the board. And it was very rewarding work, though. And it was critical democracy functioning at its most basic level. We had 9 trustees, all volunteers. We came from every walk of life. And people could come in and call us names if they wanted, and they did. And, they could go home and sleep well in their beds at night and not have to worry that somebody was going to drag them away in the middle of the night and they'd never be heard from again. This happens in some countries around the world, because this is America. This is a country, this is a democracy in which criticizing your government when you think it's wrong is patriotic. It's patriotic to stand up to your elected officials or your appointed officials and tell them when you think their policies are wrong. I don't care if it's a school board or the president. It's the same principle. It's our job as citizens to keep an eye on what's going on. It's the Congress's job to exercise oversight, which they haven't been doing over what's going on in the executive. I am very proud to have served on that Board of Education, and I remember nights when I was moved just about to tears by the feeling of being a part of this most basic building block, basic level of democracy. And I want to feel that same pride in our federal government. Every one of us has the right to feel just that proud of our president, our vice president, and our Congress. We should never feel embarrassed. We should never feel ashamed, and we certainly should never have reason to feel afraid of our own government. So, with your help, next Tuesday we're going to send a message, take back the 19th District, take back the House of Representatives, and we will take back our own United States of America. Thank you.